inverted, narcissistic, and most importantly, completely pointless. Come waste an hour of your week with The Starting Block, Friday nights Australian time at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. Get in touch with us on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end. Also, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or iTunes by searching for The Starting Block, all one word, or on Podbean at startingblock.podbean.com. Join the blockheads, tuning in their millions, right around the world.
You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you. Okie-dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to the Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. We got story times, we got muted words of the week, we got business booming, we've got Damo Does Politics, all that and much, much more here on the block. Greeno here from the Starting Block. On behalf of the block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok, and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is TAVshow.com's gain. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to the Starting Block for another week. You've got myself, Greeno, and I'm joined by a man who's also had his penalty from the USGP rescinded. My co-captain Damo, how are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Good evening to you, boys, girls, blockheads, listenership out there around the world. What penalty got rescinded? I missed that.
Fernando Alonso. So it was P7 and then got some random bullshit penalty that meant he was like pretty much thrown to the back of the grid.
Oh, really?
And he's like, hang on, this makes no sense because, like, what I did was nowhere near as bad as George Russell. I'm going to contest this. And then a week later, they're like, oh, okay, you can have your P7 back.
I love Fernando. He's my favorite. And you know what? Like, I'm so happy that he signed on for another couple of years, but every time he re-signs for an F1 team, I get a little bit sadder because I know we're 1 year closer to the end of him being there.
The end, exactly. I mean?
Well, like how many more years can he keep doing this?
Well, I thought he was done like 6-7 years ago, and he keeps on coming
after
back.
McLaren.
So
I thought he was done after McLaren. 100%. I thought that's it. He's done.
Well, he went to India, remember, and then came back.
Yep.
So my theory was like, oh, well, his career's done. Yep. He may just never retire again. Like 65 years of age, you'd be like, yeah, I'll keep driving.
You know, but for me, the sad part is like his 2 championships, he won when he was like 21 or something, didn't he? 22?
Yeah, with Benetton, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I still think to this day, if you put him in the fastest car, he'll win the fucking championship. Like, no questions, no doubt about it. He's still the fastest driver on the grid.
Yeah, now pace, exactly.
Like, and in terms of, like, that sounds stupid if you don't know, you know, kind of Formula One, right? But because his car doesn't finish. Yeah, well, his car doesn't finish high up. His car doesn't finish high up, but it's the way he drives. He's so aggressive. And you know, he's just so wily and aggressive and so smart. He knows when to push, and he's just so fucking fast. Like, he gets the most out of whatever car he's in. If he was in the fast, if he would have, I'll tell you what, if he was driving the Ferrari this year, he probably would have won the championship, I reckon. And that's taking into consideration all of the fuck ups and pit lane fuck ups and engine fuck ups. But that's for Leclerc. I'm talking about if he was in Carlos Sainz's seat, he probably would have won, because all of Carlos Sainz's drop points this year have been him fucking up, not
just
the car.
Fucking up.
You know, sending it off somewhere or, you know, whatever. So if he was in Carlos Sainz's, if he was the number 2 Ferrari driver, he probably would have won the fucking championship this year.
By about 25 points, I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
Dave, a quick story time to kick off the show.
I like stories about pinatas.
As we always do, the rundown is merely a guide. It's there. It's in the background. We ignore 95% of it for most of the show, and that's how we're going to start this show. Okay. So I wrote this about 1 o'clock, I think. There or thereabouts, sent it through to you, the rundown. Yeah. And since then, realised I'm not good on a day off. So today was annual leave day. It was meant to be a day where I was going to go to the daughter's school. Yep. It was meant to be athletics carnival, but once again, the rain fucked it up for everyone.
And if you missed last week, I think what this is Greeno's taking 1 day of annual leave per week for the next however many months or whatever to get his annual leave down, which is what
leave balance down. Correct.
Yeah.
So just taking random days. Now this one I had a justifiable reason. Meant to be daughter's athletics carnival. Going to go watch. Going to fucking cheer on. Get the pom poms out. Woo, woo, woo. We're going to play some. What's the one where you throw the ball between the legs?
Tunnel ball.
Tunnel ball. Yeah. Tunnel ball. What a fucking cracking name it was. And you have the other one where you pass it, like pass, and then someone ducks, and then you pass to the next person, and you duck, and then the next person.
Don't remember
that's called sensational game as well. Yeah. Looking forward to watching the kiddos play that, right? Yes. Unfortunately, once again, rain fucked it for everyone. It's been raining constantly for the better part of the last week and a half, so they had to cancel it.
I barely recognise Australia after 3 consecutive summers of nothing but pissing down rain. We've actually had some good weather like the last couple of weeks, just scattered here and there. Today was nice and sunny and good.
Today was beautiful, 100%.
But
it's been raining for the week beforehand. Correct. So once again, ground not up to scratch, can't send the kids out there.
Correct. Usually where you, Greeno and I grew up, when you walk out during summer, and it's literally so hot that your thongs melt on the road when you're walking down the road to your mate's house, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
So once again, the school sent out a message at the start of the week in a really worded way. I didn't realise it was cancelled. Okay. They worded in a way to say, "Hey, we're going to check the ground," and then I heard nothing. No. So I'm like, "Fucking, well, we're on, right?" So like, got my work up to date. Like everything was good to go. I'm basically like a couple of days ahead. So took the day off, and then my wife's like, because I'm anti-Facebook, right?
Yes.
So she's like, have you seen the school Facebook, like the Facebook page with the school people? I'm like,
you're like, no, not on Facebook.
I'm
Haven't
not
been
on fucking Facebook.
Yeah.
Pay attention, woman. So I said, no, I haven't seen it. What did I miss? And she's like, well, everyone's pointing out that the Athletics Carnival was actually cancelled. They just worded it poorly.
And these are the educators. That's good. That's reassuring.
It concerned me. Especially.
So don't tell me you got the English teacher to write this Facebook post, did you, by any chance? Or, because that's trouble.
100%. I'm gonna read the message out because tell me if I'm the moron here. Okay.
Hey parent, yo, maybe rain. Check them kids. Be back at you, bitch.
All right. So here's the exact message, word for word. Due to the weather, we've had to continually postpone the K2 Athletics Carnival because it's been cancelled 6 or 7 times. We'll need to continue to keep an eye on the weather to decide if our playground has dried enough for us to set a day later on in the term. We'll keep you informed if we're able to go ahead with this fun event. Now, I took that as, hey, we're scheduled for Friday. Mm-hmm. We're going to check the ground. This is at the start of the week. We can check the ground and let you know. If not, we'll set a date later. Yeah. Am I misinterpreting that message? There's nothing in here that says cancelled. It just says K2 Athletics Carnival.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I'll give you a nice Gary. But to me, I'll tell you where I'll give you a dick move, though.
You dick. Yeah.
Because if that were me in your situation, even though it's not explicitly saying that the carnival is cancelled, I would take that as enough information on my day off to just stay home and sink piss and put cartoons on.
I'm now looking at the headings of the next 4 messages, Damo.
Yes.
Monday morning assembly cancelled is the header.
Okay.
OzTag Gala Day postponed is the next header.
Everything's cancelled.
Year 5 Minamara Rainforest excursion cancelled.
And what was the carnival again?
K2 Athletics Carnival.
Oh, so no cancelled or otherwise?
No cancelled, no postponed.
Oh, yeah. That is a dick move for the school.
Dick move from the school. We need to put cancelled on there. Yep. So anyway, I find this out at about 8:30 last night. I'm like, well, I've already done my work for tomorrow. I've already told everyone I'm off. I've already put the out of office on.
Yeah.
I'm
not going in now. Fuck that. Yeah.
But I'm like, well, what am I going to fucking do tomorrow now? Like, I was meant to go to the Athletics Carnival. Like my wife's like, well, why don't you just fucking take a day off?
And I'm like, a proper day off. Yeah.
A proper day off. And I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. Like, all right, fair enough. Well, I'll take it because the wife was off in the morning and she's working nights. Okay. So I was like, when are you off? When are you going to go to work? She's like, midday. I'm like, oh, cool. We'll go get some brekkie in the morning. It'll all be good.
Okay.
I realised it got to like 3:30 this afternoon. I realised I'm not good on a day off because up until that point, I'd done 14 individual activities. On my day off.
How many what kinds of activities were you doing?
So I'm like, well, I'll get up early because I'm on my day off. Wife's got to work today. I'll do drop off this morning because it seems stupid. Like, why should she have to do it on a work day? Sure. I'll do the drop off. Yeah. So we drop off. I go to get some groceries, and I come back. Then we go for a beach walk. Then from the beach walk, then I had some like stuff to do around the house. Yeah. So then I got my bike all good, and I'm like, well, I've just got my bike all in good nick. Fuck it, I better do a bike ride. So I did a bike ride. Yeah. Then I'm like, well, I got a day off. Might as well take the pitch machine down the park. Did the pitch machine. Then thought, we'll get the day off. Better walk to school instead of driving to school to pick up the daughter. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, maybe she can scoot home. So we scooted on home.
All right, but these, you know what?
She got a play park. These are all fun activities. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but these are all more than that. These are all by choice. Like
they're 100% by choice. And what my point is,
day off means you can do whatever you want. You know,
most people would go, hey, day off, I'm going to relax. Yeah. But my brain needed to be occupied. Yeah. So I end up I got to like 4 o'clock and I was more exhausted than if I went to work. Which is kind of the point. Kind of the point of the story time. Okay.
I like stories about pinatas.
I wouldn't have worked this hard if I went to work. I tried to squeeze in fun activities, which is the main.
You'd have been slacking off all day if you were at work.
100%, man.
Watching YouTube.
YouTube, on Twitter, like
putting bets on, having a punt.
I've already done my work for the day. So now I fucking might as well put the feet up. Instead, I'm like, how much can I jam into one day? So there's that. That's my story time. Now, Damo, we love muted word of the week on this show. We love it. We got to make sure we mute everything. Yep. I'm concerned.
Yes.
I'm a little bit concerned with some news today because of Elon.
Ah, yes.
Elon, transactions gone through.
The big E,
Elon's
the easy E. Yeah.
He's like, he
The
had
check
two options.
cleared, Greeno.
He'd go, look, I could cost myself a whole bunch of money because I've reneged on a deal, or fuck it, I could just buy the stupid thing and not notice anything in my bank balance.
Oh, you know what, though? We have to give him one of these because he really did have the big swinging dick move when he walked in. Wasn't it like within 20 minutes he's fucking sacked the CEO, the CFO, and the head of legal? Like,
head of legal,
you're all
head
out of
here. Privacy, head of data. It's that episode of The Simpsons where there's a lot of you I wanted to cut. I couldn't cut all of you.
By the way, you're cut. No, it's Gary.
That was the one today.
So yeah, he has cut a lot of people right out there instantly. So, you know, if you are going to do it, that's the way to do it. March in, you know, really march in and set the world on fire. But I was interested to know, Greeno, okay, so what's this? Because we've been talking about the Twitter acquisition for a while on this show. And I'm thinking, all right, so what's the direction here? What can we expect? I want to think about where's Elon? Like, if I'm Twitter and I sit down next to Elon, I'm going to say to Elon, Mr. Musk, where do you see Twitter in 5 years from now? You know, what's your plan here for the future? So since he has taken the job and he's taken over, now have a look at this, Greeno. He put this out the other day, apparently, you know, sending this to advertisers with them in mind. And he said, Twitter obviously cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences. Greeno, at that point, the free speech loving community were clutching their socks, thinking we're going right over the cliff here. It's all over. Yeah. But then, Greeno, he added this, and this is where I want to get you into the mind frame of muted word of the week is catching on. And I think more people are getting what we're doing here. I
understand. Yes.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, just before I read out this statement from Elon Musk, tell us again, the inspiration for muted word of the week comes from where exactly? Your desire on Twitter to see what? To only see. Okay.
I only want to see 4 things. I need to see, basically, because the point of Twitter and any kind of social media is you just follow what you want to see. Yes. So I want to see sport. Yes. I want to see 80s movies. Yeah. And tits. And 3 things. Something else.
No, there's 2 tits, so that's 4, right?
Double tits. Yeah. Better call.
So you want to see sports, 80s movies, and a pair of tits.
And tits. That's it. That's all I want.
That's all you're interested in.
That's all I sign up for. You look at my follower list, it's 80 movies, it's sport, it's tit. That's all we need.
Yep. And you
everyone's happy. I'm happy. Not everyone, but I'm happy. That's all I see in my timeline.
You mute everything else. So you're like, I'm not interested. I don't care. Fuck off. Yeah. Don't want to know you. Now, have a listen to this, Greeno. As muted the word of the week is now catching on in the billionaire community, I'm very confident of this theory. Have a listen to this. In addition to adhering to the laws of the land, this is Elon Musk, our platform must be warm and welcoming to all, where, quote, you can choose your desired experience according to your preferences, Greeno, just as you can choose, for example, to see movies or play video games ranging from all ages to mature.
Nice,
and isn't that really all anybody's ever wanted? It's like, you know, if you don't like it, don't fucking click on it. Do not watch it. Don't read it. Yeah, I know. We do love the outrage. But it's crazy to think that somebody should be responsible for the content that they themselves choose to watch. But we don't. Apparently, in today's society, that's not true. No. The platform is responsible for shielding you from things that you don't want to see. It's not your responsibility, right? We are ass backwards. So. Very much looking forward to everybody talking about how now the Nazis have taken over Twitter again. That'll be nice. Nice. That's just probably next. That's around the corner. So there you go.
100%.
Yep.
Interesting to see how it all pans out. Because once again, Twitter is nothing more than what people put into it. Correct. So. I don't know what Elon can change other than unblocking a whole bunch of people.
Well, he can just sack a bunch of people,
Sack people, unblock people, throw a shit ton more ads that are already in there that I'm just going to have to block myself.
Will there be more ads or just more Tesla ads? Because I can cope with that.
Oh, there's a lot of, I don't know about you, man. There's a lot of promoted that's popped up in my timeline. And my rule for that is block immediately. So anything that's promoted, I'm just going to block it.
Yep.
So I've got like 5 billion blocks just because everyone.
Yeah, because you'll never block them all, mate. You know.
No, you can't block them all. That's the problem because they just keep on fucking funneling.
Yeah, so I try to get in the habit of swiping past them because if you block that one, then you have to block the next one, and you block the next one. They just keep putting new ads on your timeline. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Find new things to promote.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just keep blocking them though.
Well, see, that's the thing. I reckon I do the math on this, and I think to myself, the Twitter fucking AI algorithm has more resources. It will send me ads more than I can physically block them. Like, I'll be blocking them until the day I fucking die, and I'll never get through them all. So why start?
Well, so I think the opposite theory, right? I think eventually the algorithm will go, this guy is literally going out of his way.
No, it doesn't care about your feelings.
To block every single ad that pops up.
She doesn't care how you feel, mate.
Stop putting it in this guy's timeline because he's just going to block it. The algorithm should be that smart.
No, I reckon it would work the opposite way, and it would think, oh, look, this, for some reason, this account is blocking all of our ads. We better start sending twice as much, 5 times as much, because to see breakthrough. Yeah.
Just to be a dick move.
Nice, Gary!
Oh, Greeno. Business is booming. Can we talk about this, please? For a minute?
Yeah, let's talk a bit of business is booming.
Yeah. People at risk of monkeypox are now able to book an appointment for a monkeypox vaccine through a New South Wales Health online booking system. New South Wales Health is working closely with partner agencies such as Acorn, Greeno, on the vaccine rollout. And there you go. There's your flyer. Book your free monkeypox for free, Greeno. It's free.
Nice,
It's free. No one's paying for that.
Yeah, they have to.
Where'd you get your monkeypox vaccine? A homeless guy was handing them out with pens.
Buy one, get 8 free. That's what they're doing with the monkeypox vaccine. I saw this last week and it made me laugh because I'm like, look, everyone's got a bit of vaccine fatigue to begin with. Now, there's a lot of vaccines out there. There's a lot of vaccine. No, 100%, man. Like, there's
sick of hearing about it. Yeah.
There's a lot of good vaccines out there. Don't get me wrong.
Or is it the fatigue that comes when your heart begins to suffer after you're taking the vaccine and you start having blood pressure issues or something?
Well, I'm vaxxed up and I still run around and did 28,000 steps today. So,
but you are a soon-to-be middle-aged white guy, and as we all know, I mean, Warnie, fucking all the other ones who died, clearly Greeno.
I also stopped smoking a pack a day about 20 years ago, mate. So I think I'm in a better position than Warnie. I think I'm all good.
Warnie, do you reckon Warnie never really quit?
I can never fucking know if he didn't. No chance. He was a pack a day man till the day he died.
I reckon he was doing it. I reckon. Look, this is just me, and it's just an opinion based on nothing. But I still reckon he was doing a ton of coke. You know,
100% he was doing a ton of coke.
Because look, you know, when you take that kind of a drug, you naturally tend to get a bit thinner. Because you don't eat as much and you're more active and you're moving around and stuff more and, you know. So you just, when someone drops a lot of weight really quick, it's usually one of two things. Either they've had, you know, some kind of colonic irrigation or something and, you know, some kind of deep pore massage or whatever, or they're doing a bunch of little bags on a Friday and Saturday night.
And
then Tuesday night, and Wednesday night and Thursday night.
There's option 3, like, you know, hard dieting, you know, healthy living, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is the guy that used to like ship tins of baked beans and pizzas, frozen pizzas to India to eat. That's kind of his diet. So I think he might be on the money there with
the little bags.
A few little baggies that might have helped with the weight loss there. Also was into the Hollywood scene. So, you know.
Well, you know, I'm not saying it had anything to do with his ultimate demise, not at all. But I definitely think that he was probably dabbling, you know, later in life. I mean, you know, you're an ex-sportsman, you got a lot of money. What else are you going to fucking do?
You're not getting drug tested anymore?
No, that's it. Enjoy it. Fuck no. I'm not even angry at him. I love him for it. Fuck, I wish I could have done a line with him, Greeno. out on the bags with Warnie. It would have been a fucking hell of a night.
No, it wouldn't have been because he would have sat there and talked about himself the entire fucking time.
Nice, Gary.
He'd be talking about all the famous people he's done bags with.
I done bags with way more famous people than you. That's what he would have done.
On the nose beers with Warnie.
On the nose beers with Warnie. That's what we should rechange the title to nose beers.
One day we'll be doing nose beers with Warnie in heaven, Greeno, I reckon. What a day.
Let's do it. Well, do we have anything else for the monkeypox thing? I
No,
still think
that's
just
it.
got fatigue of
Book
it.
your free
It's over.
monkeypox vaccine, Greeno.
If you feel like you're vulnerable. Now, is anyone, firstly, is this like a massive thing, the monkeypox? I haven't seen much monkeypox about.
Well, it was like all over the place, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to say like 2 months ago, but then for whatever reason, people decided in the news industry, they decided to report on other things instead.
Other things, no more monkeypox.
We're not going to talk about monkeypox
We're moving
anymore.
on.
I think there are elections approaching shortly, Greeno.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think there's Victorian elections coming up. That's
Victorian
why all the
elections.
restrictions disappeared. And
well, in
so
US as well, you've got the midterms just around the corner, Greeno.
Yeah. Can't talk about bad things.
No,
Got to
can't talk
everything
about
positive.
monkeypox.
But
Well,
the economy's doing great there in the US at the moment.
Yeah, and look, I'm not even sure you can say that monkeypox is a bad thing because I think that makes you homophobic now in America. If you say monkeypox is bad, because you don't, you know why? Because you don't want to be, kind of infliction shaming or something. You don't want to be shaming people who have, conditions. Monkeypox, especially.
Yeah.
And
you get a vaccine, are you?
Yeah, and remember there was all that reporting going around, and it was like, well, the overwhelming majority of people who have monkeypox are, gay men. And then people would say, well, why are the gay men catching the monkeypox? And then they'd say, well, you can't say that because that's homophobic, you see.
Homophobic.
Yeah. So we have to pretend now that, it's other people more so than it actually is.
So is this a politically correct way to say, hey,
so.
if you're into that kind of thing, better go get a vaccine?
Yeah, well, I want to know, it says more people are now eligible in New South Wales. Now, how does one...
That's why I'm becoming eligible
for the monkeypox vaccine.
Because
the COVID vaccine, we were more or less kind of forced to get it. You were told, look, if you don't get this, you're fucked, basically.
Yeah.
We're not going to let you into any fucking place.
Anywhere.
We're not going to let you leave your own home. We'll probably
Which
put
is the
you in a
reason I didn't get it for so long. Because I'm like, fuck it, I can't go to work. Excellent, this is great.
Yeah, it's not my fault. Blame the government.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I
That's
love the
it. Can't do it.
vaccine.
Can't leave my house.
And so that was the business with that one. But now they're taking very much a laid-back approach to the monkeypox vaccine, aren't they? They're like, well, you know what? Hey, it's up to you.
You want it?
Do you want to get it?
But I've seen a bit more of it than I'd like to see personally. I'm like, I'm done with the vaccines. We're done.
Do you reckon people with monkeypox, Greeno, watch the news and go, well, why the fuck are they talking about COVID all the time? Well, how about some monkeypox updates? Why aren't we getting any
we need some more monkeypox news. Why isn't monkeypox leading off the bulletin?
Yeah.
We're talking about Katy Perry. I don't understand what's going on here. Where's the monkeypox update?
Are they really talking about Katy Perry?
I don't know, mate. I don't even have TV.
No.
I've watched news forever. I have no idea what's going on in the world.
Then
you
now,
keep me updated.
Well, all of a sudden now the Katy Perry reference makes sense. Then doesn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. No, the only reason I raised it,
she's not on TV either anymore.
No, there's fucking context to pull back the kimono. Yeah. This morning, my wife and I went down the beach for breakfast.
Yeah.
And she's like, I was talking about this thing with Katy Perry on like radio, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, this is why I don't listen to radio. Yeah. And it kind of just fed into the news thing. Because apparently they were worried for some reason her eye wasn't opening properly at a concert. And so then it became a big fucking radio story like, has Katy Perry had a stroke? Like, she can't open a fucking eye, blah, blah, blah. Like, admittedly, she does have massive long eyelashes. Maybe there's a bit of a glue issue. Like, let's fucking
overglued.
Let's put that to one side. Fuck it, we'll just say she had a stroke. That's funnier. Yeah. Like, we get more content out of that. We better go with that. So that's what happened, and that's why the Katy Perry reference came into it.
Yeah, nice.
Gary.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, Damn, a quick story time if I can, sir.
Little story.
I like stories about pinatas.
We talked about on last week's show, actually we've been talking about for the last 4 or 5 weeks, stupid purchases Greeno has made over the last month. We had the Lumens. We talked about that. I'm not going to talk about it again. We're done. We've covered that. Covered extensively. Okay. But then last week, I fucking threw a little nugget out there about a pitching machine I purchased that arrived this week.
Sounded like something I'd expect to find in one of those shows where they buy, the old storage containers and fucking pull a blanket off. Oh my God, it's a 1945 pitching machine, bro.
This thing is not a 1945 one. This is a brand new bad boy, and it arrived this week. So was very excited.
Plug it in and see how she goes.
Plug it in. Now, first and foremost, what first stood out is that to build it. So that's not bad.
It's
but
like a barbecue pit.
I didn't realize kind of the level and high quality machinery I'd unintentionally purchased. I thought I was buying something I can play with the kids in the backyard. We'll settle out, we'll have a bit of fun, it'll be good.
Plug it in like a little fucking portable heater or something. You just plug 100%. It there, point it that way, and it'll spit the balls out. Yep.
Everyone has fun. No, all good. Now, the first thing that concerned me when I had to build it is it had 4 tiers of legwork. So this bastard is already 6 foot tall. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I've got a ball shooting.
It's probably got like fucking shock absorbers and shit, so it doesn't move when it's when it's doing stuff.
It was quite large, sir. Like it's basically if Glenn McGrath was bowling at me.
Okay,
is kind of the situation I've got here. Right. To the point I was worried I was going to hit my roof.
You know what you can do now though? You can get like a cardboard cutout of Justin Verlander and stick it over the front of the thing.
I could do that at the front just to prep it. So this concerned me to begin with. I'm like, these legs are a lot higher than I thought they were going to be when I purchased it. This is literally like a 6'4" pitcher that is throwing a ball down here, and I haven't even angled it up yet. This is very dangerous.
Yeah.
So I thought, look,
can take a kidney out or something. If you turn your eyes away from it, fucking knock you out, wouldn't it?
Exactly. So
imagine the kids running out and seeing Daddy laying on the ground and this thing just spitting balls into the back fence. Bang, bang, bang.
Well, here's the thing, right? I thought this was a fun family activity. So I
don't want to kill my son.
I'm like, I don't know how far. Like, I know this thing said it goes up to 100 kilometers an hour, but I don't know how quick the ball is going to spit out. So I need to gauge it. So I set it at like the lowest possible setting.
Yeah. And you need like a speed gun or something too, honestly. You need to get like a speed gun or something so you can actually calibrate it properly, because it might say 60 on the machine, but it might be spitting it out at 55 or 65.
It might be, but I'll get to that.
Okay.
So I turn to the lowest possible setting, and the ball just kind of dribbles out.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, this is fucking, obviously that's too low.
Yeah.
That's too low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like quarter setting, because it's like quarter gauge, and see what happens. So I sit back, I turn it to quarter setting, I stand there, and then all I hear is this bang. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Smashes into my back fence. And I'm like, what happened there? Next ball comes out. Bang! I'm like, what? Is that went past me? I'm fucking it becomes dodgeball. I'm fucking dodging and running back.
Fearing for your life. Unplug the machine! Unplug it!
This shit is at quarter setting. And I'm like, fucking way too close. Quickly turn it down, turn it off. So this thing is flat out sending out rockets. And I'm like, well, I didn't expect this. Like, fuck, what am I going to do? Because like I expected like this was to play with the kids, and it's like the kids are going to enjoy it.
Kids and knock their little heads off. By the sound of it,
like the tooth fairy's coming, your whole front row.
It sounds like it's going to send the ball like clear through them. You know, like if you walk in front of it, they're going to put a 100%. Hole in them. You know.
So I'm like, I got to do some more test runs. So first and foremost, I'm like, well, I need to get this height
up. You know,
I need to get this height lower to begin with.
Right.
So I realized that the legs have like detachable parts, so I can get it to kind of like normal height, which is fine. So I did that, and that was all good. It's coming from 6'4" up. I'm not getting Randy fucking Johnson pitching at me here now. I also then said, okay, well, I need more length in my backyard, so found a different area that has more length and left it at the same level. At that point, I'm like, well, this seems a bit more reasonable. Got it fired up. But what I noticed, Amo, is it sounds like a fucking jet engine. So you turn the thing up and you go, I'm like, what? Once again, too fast.
Yeah.
Finally get it going, and I can hear the ball whizzing. Like,
you can hear the seam whizzing through the air.
You can hear the ball whizzing in the air.
Stitching.
Like, this isn't touching the ground. This is the ball whizzing in the air. And then it hits my glove, and I hear the thwack. And I'm like, fuck, man, this is pretty good. Like, it's good. It's stupid, but it's good at the same time.
Yep.
So at that point, I had to go tell the kiddies, like, hey, man, this is not a fucking kiddie's toy.
Yeah,
like,
do not turn this on. Yeah.
Like, stay away from it. You need to be away because if this hits you in the fucking face, you will die. It's no good.
Yeah.
Like, stay away from that. Now, what I also bought is because I want to take you down the field to do batting practice. Is there was a little battery that came with it, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, excellent. It'll be like a little fucking couple of D batteries I throw into it. We're all good. We'll duck on down to Coles. We'll plug it in. The battery arrives and I pick it up. I'm like, fuck, this is a bit heavy. It's a fucking car battery. The thing is powered by a 12-volt fucking car battery. So the wife gets home and I was like, oh, the machine arrived today. She's like, oh, yeah, how'd it go? I'm like, well, it came with a car battery. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, this is how much power this thing needs. I've literally got jumper cables.
Jesus Christ.
And a car battery to take it down. I said, but it's brilliant. It fires rockets. She's like, surely it doesn't. So I made her stand out here and watch me.
watch it thunk into the fence.
As a ball almost took my head off at half pace. So it turns out I bought some fucking completely stupid thing that requires car battery power to operate.
You bought like a piece of professional equipment when all you're wanting was like a bit of backyard hero kind of stuff.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit of pace. I didn't realize how much pace I was getting. So I took it down the field as one of my 14 activities today.
Yeah. How do you squeeze all these activities in, mind you? How the fuck did you manage that? You must have been at the field for like 8 minutes.
There for 48 to be exact.
48.
I spent 48 minutes at the field.
Nice, Gary!
So took it down the field today, and I'm like, well, hang on, I've literally got a whole athletics field to myself here. Yeah. I got to crank this bad boy all the way up. Yeah. Let's fire it up.
Let's see, 100%. Let's go.
Yeah. So I fired it all the way up, and I'm out there, and I'm literally 50 meters away. I was doing fielding practice.
Right.
So I was like 50 meters away, and I'm catching like balls are rocketing, spinning, smacking off my glove, going over my head. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. Yeah. And then I look, and I'm like, what's going on with the machine? The thing was going so fast and vibrating so hard, screws fell out. Good time to go to a break.
Do you like your novelty comedy songs organic? Handmade with painstaking care, put into every note? Well, look no further than Irrational Times. Using only the finest instruments to create an experience that your ears will thank you for later, Irrational Times attempts to elevate the whimsy to a desirable level. New songs and sketches every week, so check it out.
There's a place that we can go to watch old things. All the warm, fuzzy member berries it brings. It's a special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Campy old movies and old cartoons. We hope to see you over there very soon. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. When we were kids and there wasn't any school, we'd sit and watch all the best cartoons, eating cereal until it was noon. We never thought that 30 years later it'd still be cool. Saturday night and cheesy movies, the ones that used to show us boobies. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy.
Now with less than 3% sport content. It's the starting block on TAVshow.com.
Yes, welcome back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys boys and girls. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, otherwise known as a right-wing cesspit of fascism and hate speech, Greeno. And, as we all know, Twitter's fucking god-awful now that Elon's taken over. It's going to be awful forevermore. And, everybody has to leave, I think, in order to protect democracy, Greeno.
Should I mute our own account just to be safe?
Yeah, we should mute our own account. I think that is a very good idea. And then we should just how about this? What if we start rebranding our accounts as nothing but sports, 80s movies, and tip?
Yeah.
That's all we'll do. How about that?
To be fair, that's pretty much what we already do.
That's true. Very true. I'll give you a little nice Gary for that.
Nice, Gary!
A little netball, sir?
Before we get to the netball, well, because, Twitter obviously becoming now a cesspit of right-wing fascism and extremism and, evilness, Greeno, of course, now that Elon Musk has walked in. I saw this the other day and I thought, you know what? This is the kind of political news that I'm happy with. This is the kind of political news that I want to see more of, Greeno.
And I hope does politics.
Yeah, a little bit of Damon does politics. I was preparing a curry and saw Boris Johnson's face staring back at me.
Nice, Gary!
Similar to where Jesus and
Mary.
Mary often pops up.
That's right.
In random areas, whether it be a souvlaki or a bowl of soup or I've seen a urinal Virgin Mary.
Yeah, that's right. A urinal cake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone peed on a urinal cake and thought, oh, that was
the message.
And, that really, truly is probably why I'm ultimately a Christian, because people see the face of Jesus in, like, say, their toast with Vegemite. And people
I've seen the toast one as well. Yeah, that's right.
Whereas on the flip side, people see the face of Satan, in the blood of their victims. And, it's like, well, which life do I want to live? So I'll see Jesus in the toast. Thank you. If that's an option, I'll have a nice toast in the morning, and I'll be all godly and good. And I don't want to see the face of Satan in the the vaginal blood of my victims, so to speak. Greeno.
Quick thought. Right? Do you reckon there's some churches out there that are selling some merch on the side that have like just the Jesus toasted imprint?
Oh,
So they sell toasters, you rock up and you're like, it's like Clint's Crazy Bargains. You come on down, you get yourself a toaster, you get a toaster, like, I'm going to sign from God. Turns out like that's just the burn symbol.
That's not a bad idea, actually. You're just like a little, like an iron kind of situation. You heat it up and then you toast your toast by pressing it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what? That's a little...
A sign from God every time you have a Vegemite sandwich.
Yeah. You know what? It would be great for the Sunday school, brunch, wouldn't it? With the little ones. Yeah, everybody get your line up, get your Jesus toast.
Get Jesus toast.
Yeah, fantastic. I see, some Mexican will say, look, I saw Jesus in the toast. And they go, fuck off. I see Jesus in the toast every week.
Every day.
Mum makes it that way.
Nice, that's why we do it.
All right. I like it. But meanwhile, back on the Satan side of the equation, I think.
Johnson's in the curry, apparently.
Yeah. A man who was preparing a curry was stunned when he realised it had a strong resemblance to the former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Now, Greeno, I'm going to show you.
Interject, if I may,
please.
Like I know we're about to get to the curry, but
yes.
I need you to get me up to speed because once again, I pointed out I don't follow any news. I'm off the grid, Damo. I'm off the grid.
Now. Yeah. So you're not doing politics anymore. Is that right?
No, I did it for the Australian election and I'm done. I've cut it all off. I'm checked out. I've muted everything. Anything that even has any letters in the word political, I'm muted. So
it's a shame. It's a shame because I've been trying for 20 years to get you interested in political issues, and the one election you decide to pay attention to just so happens to be the most ridiculous election that's ever taken place, that being the one between Scott Morrison and Anthony Albanese, where nobody actually won. It just turned out that, somebody lost less, if that makes sense.
Right. I've been referred to on this show for weeks. Who's less of a shit cunt?
Yes. Who's less of a shit cunt is basically the way it turned out.
That was the voting slogan of that election.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Nobody.
These guys are both so bad. I don't know who's less of a shit cunt. Who am I going to vote for here?
Yeah. The Australian population basically thought to themselves, you know what? I don't like either of these guys. But the ones that were in, it's like, well, I think you had your go. That's basically the way the Australians looked at it.
We've had enough for a run. Let's try something else.
Let's give the other guys a crack, see what happens.
the same joke I tell every single election, the old Bobcat Goldthwait joke of like, it's like going into an adult bookstore and picking the least painful dildo. That's how it is.
The way I think it was it last week? Was it this show or my show? I can't remember. But the way I now think of the Australian political situation is like turning back an average steak in a steakhouse. You know, like we don't want to change anything. It's not a very good steak. It's not very. It's overcooked. It's not the way I ordered it. But you know what? It'd be too much trouble to fucking send it back and get a new one. So this is the way we're keeping it for now.
We're doing this steak and we're going to eat it for 3 years.
But you're not getting a tip. That's for damn sure, or at least half tip.
We're going to complain about it when we get home, but we're going to eat the steak.
Might complain about it on Facebook, Greeno, but I'm not gonna tell the chef. You know. I'm just going to tell everyone else for the rest of my life, oh, God, not that place.
We're going back there. But when they asked me how was meal, it was delicious.
It was fine. Good enough.
Good enough. So I need to get brought up to speed with what happened. Because from my understanding, right, Boris was there. Boris did such a bad job, he had to leave.
It wasn't so much he did a bad job. No, I'll fill you in.
I'm trying to explain my understanding. Let me finish.
Okay.
So I heard
you already told me you don't know anything, though. So what exactly are you explaining?
No, I'm explaining what I thought happened, right?
Okay.
So Boris got booted.
Yes.
He left, whatever he did.
Yeah.
And then they brought in some bird. He was there for a couple of weeks.
Yes, mate.
And then they said, hey, Boris might come back.
Yeah.
Maybe we just get Boris back.
He nearly did a run, Greeno. Nearly did a K run.
He's already got the passwords. Like, it seems like a lot of effort to set up a new computer.
It's a bit like that Simpsons episode, Greeno, where they vote back in whatever his name was, the fucking waste commissioner, the garbage commissioner.
Done by Steve Munn. That's the one.
I'm not coming back, and you can all wallow in the hell that you've created. Thank you.
Exactly.
Ray Patterson, Greeno. There it is.
Ray Patterson, that's the one. Well done. Nice, Gary.
Thank you.
Played by Steve Munn. Now. And then turns out Boris didn't come back, and then they got some new dude.
Yeah.
Now, is that a good summation of what happened, or am I completely off it?
No, you're pretty much you're good enough. I reckon close enough.
How did the bird fuck it up in 2 weeks, though?
Well, no, it wasn't 2 weeks. It was 44 days. So it was a month and a week.
Far off Think about it.
No, Greeno, be fair. No, Greeno, be fair. She was Prime Minister almost double what you thought.
Nice,
more than double. More than twice the amount of time. Give her credit. So she was in for like 5 weeks. Yeah. And what happened was she came in because her and the guy who's now in, right, they kind of, what happened was Boris resigned. He said, all right, I'm stepping down. Because there was a whole bunch of ministers who started stepping down and said, I can't work for Boris Johnson anymore. And that more or less, even though I would agree that he's done a terrible job, but I think the thing that triggered it was there was this scandal where during the COVID lockdowns, he had parties at Number 10.
That's right. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The Prime Minister's residence, basically. And there was parties that came. Now, I couldn't personally give a fuck about that. Right. That kind of shit is like, well, whatever. I wish everyone was having parties,
If you don't think your politicians, your representatives are hypocrites in everything they say compared to what they do, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, of course. It's the way they live.
Yeah.
Like, you better get used to it, kids. If you think politicians embody your values, quote unquote, let me tell you, you're just a sucker. You're a sucker in an election, and
politicians are used car
they're selling you something. Exactly.
100%. Yeah,
they're selling you a message. They're selling you a dream, and if you buy into it, you're a sucker. Because the dream is for them; it's not for you. You're the one paying for it, right?
Yeah, their dream is to have a lifelong pension and fucking run the country.
Yep, and you're the one providing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were we talking about again now? You got me.
Boris's curry.
Boris's curry. We're starting. Yeah.
You were explaining why Boris had to leave. Boris left, and then
Liz Truss came in, and she came in and she said, "Look, I've got this great fucking plan." Because remember, now she had to win like an internal election between just the Conservative Party members. It's like our system where, you know, if you kick the leader out, the party decides who the prime minister is going to be, and it's not a vote like in the States with like the presidential vote or whatever.
That's how we ended up with ScoMo.
That's right. Yeah. But then he did win he won an election against Bill Shorten as well.
That's how we got it in the first place.
Yes.
That's how
he replaced Malcolm Turnbull.
Turnbull, my apologies. Yeah, that's right.
Well, to be fair to him, like I don't have a problem as long as they win the next election, because then I'm like, okay, well then fair enough, you know. Yeah. So he did do that. Like, say Julia Gillard, for example, got
did the same thing.
No. Well, no, she didn't win an election though. You know what I mean?
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't. No, they didn't win. They had a fucking tie. She couldn't form government, and what they had to do was do constant deals. Don't you remember like Rob Oakeshott and all those weird kind of side benches?
Once again,
yeah.
In answer to your question, I remember it, but I don't give a fuck.
No, so she didn't actually win.
She kind of drew the election, but was in power as long as she had 6 mates that weren't really in her
She
team.
didn't win. She won just as much as Tony Abbott won that election. The only difference was that the crossbenchers agreed to do business with her and not him. And so she didn't actually win the election, right? But then she lost. She didn't get a chance to fight one again because they replaced her with the guy that they replaced here with Kevin Rudd.
It was brutal.
So she stabbed Kevin Rudd in the back. He won an election. He beat John Howard, right? Then she stabbed Kevin Rudd in the back, and he wasn't allowed to contest the next election. She did, and she drew it. Then she got replaced by Kevin Rudd again, and then he lost to Tony Abbott. 2 years later, Tony Abbott was replaced by his own party, by Malcolm Turnbull. Did he win an election? Or did he
won an election?
Yes, but only just. Like he kind of really scraped in there. And then he was replaced by Scott Morrison. Yes. He got stabbed in the back by Peter Dutton, who's now the current leader of the Liberal Party.
It was so bad that then
his own party didn't choose him.
Party said, "Oh fuck, we can't vote that guy in."
So that was probably
we'll get old mate in.
Yeah. That was probably Scott Morrison sitting there going, "Hey, Peter, you should definitely go for it, mate. You should definitely go for it." And then everyone voted for Scott Morrison because it was his idea, apparently.
He got in, and then he fucked it up for a couple of years, and then he got voted out.
Yeah, I would say he had a really good run after he won that election against Bill Shorten, because I like many people sighed a great sigh of relief when it didn't even matter who was against Bill Shorten, but I'm glad that Australia collectively said, "Nah, not this cunt, not him." You know what I mean? Like, no. Not this fucking idiot, mate. You know, and I was satisfied with that. I don't care if the next person's Liberal, Labor, or whatever, as long as it's not fucking Bill Shorten. You know, that was good enough for me.
And we got the Clown Prince for 3 years, so it was all good.
So then they took out Bill Shorten, they replaced Bill Shorten with Anthony Albanese, and then he beat Scott Morrison at the last election. But again, he didn't really win. It's just that he lost less.
But he was
That's Scott Morrison.
Less of a cunt.
That's a quick rundown in the Australian political system. Now back to the UK.
Last 12 years.
Yeah. Well, see, the UK are trying to copy us now, aren't they? They thought they looked at us and they thought, wow, Australian politics is so dynamic. It's always changing.
And here's what I'm going to do a fucking tip of the hat. Nice Gary.
Nice Gary.
They looked at the Australian party system and like, hang on, you stab a prime minister in the back? Fuck it. We can do it twice.
We can do it twice in 2 weeks.
How many can we stab? We're going to get 19 different prime ministers in with no one voting.
Well, I mean, it is London, Greeno. A lot of people are getting stabbed, so it makes fucking sense to me. Here we go. A carer prepared a curry for a client and saw the face of Boris Johnson staring back at him. And Jonathan Hotinger reckons the chicken korma doppelganger is a sign that the ex-PM could return to number 10 to replace Liz Truss. And there apparently is the Boris Johnson curry.
Boris Johnson chicken korma.
Yeah. And of course that is 100% not set up, is it? To have like the meat in that's, arranged that way and a little smiley face in the hair.
We've talked about this on this show 1,000 times before. Like this 24/7 news cycle means there's so much content that is not fucking news. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Literally had this conversation with the wife earlier when she was talking about the fucking Katy Perry thing.
Yes.
Where I'm like, man, like this is not news, eh? Like it's nice for having a bit of a chit chat about it, but at the same time, like The only reason that this is on there is because there's so many fucking radio channels and they got to fill in so many hours. And like, fucking Katy Perry might have had a stroke, but even though eyes glued shut, blah blah blah.
Katy Perry might have had a stroke. It's just we went from death hoaxes with Jeff Goldblum to Katy Perry stroke hoaxes.
Oh, who died during the week and then turns out it wasn't dead? Jerry Garcia. Jerry was back from the dead.
No, wasn't it Jerry Lee Lewis?
Jerry Lee Lewis. No, Jerry Garcia is dead.
Now, see, I thought Jerry Lee Lewis had been dead for some time, and I felt awful when I discovered that he wasn't.
Am I wrong that Jerry Lee Lewis is like, I remember,
yeah, Great Balls of Fire. That's him.
Yeah.
Yep, the piano guy. He was a rock and roll pianist, and he was like kind of
Sex Pest, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, he was like edgy back in the day because he would do things on stage that people were like, "Oh my god, you can't," that's not.
But didn't
good.
he marry like a 13-year-old at one point?
Oh, I'm not sure. Haven't they all fucked? If you, if you go back and it's actually Mersh, Nightwave Radio.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to him. This is a few years ago now. And he made this point. I was like, I never really fucking thought about that before. He's like, if you go back and listen to all like the 50s rock and roll, they're all pedophiles because they're all singing about like Sweet 16 and, 15-year-old pussy and stuff.
Nice,
oh, you're a sweet, pretty thing and you're not even 15 yet. Actually, it fucking really is.
It was worse than that.
Bunch of pedos.
He married his 13-year-old cousin. There you go.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain.
Nice, Gary.
Oh.
What was it? A guy that we're a big fan of, Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry. I love Chuck Berry. Love me some Chuck.
Amazing musician, terrible person. Like, did some horrible things.
Yeah, but I reckon when you're at Chuck Berry, you know my opinions on these things, Greeno. I think when you're at Chuck Berry status, you can fuck as many kids as you want, Greeno.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't even know. What did Chuck Berry do?
Just research it. It's fucking. He did some horrible things.
Okay, but he made a lot of good music though, so I'll allow it. He didn't do anything to me personally, so what do I care?
Not you personally. That's fine.
Like that, I think the most awful people, as long as they're not directly affecting me, then let them do music and movies and stuff, and we'll all benefit from it as long as we're not one of their victims.
Something I was going to put in a rundown last week, but I thought, too serious to talk about on this show. But well, you already brought it up. Yep. So, like the Bill, I don't know if you saw the Bill Murray stuff last week.
See, Bill Murray again. He can do whatever he wants.
But
he's got a green light, gold ticket. He can do whatever he wants. I don't care.
I don't think he can do whatever he wants. What I'm saying is, like, I think at some point you got to be able to.
No, I think he can do whatever he wants. That's my genuine opinion. He can walk up to you and spit in your face, and you go, "Thank you, Mr. Murray." That's the way it should work. He should do whatever he wants.
What I'm saying is, you should be able to go, "Hey, what this person did is creative, and it's a good. This dude's fucking funny, or this is an amazing actor," but still think they're a shit human. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, of course.
You can look at an athlete who does terrible things and go, I appreciate, like, they're an amazing athlete, blah, blah, blah. Yep. Like, people try and link, you need to be a good human to be famous. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say it, but, a lot of getting famous is kind of doing terrible things to get there.
Well, like the reason that actors are so good at acting is because they're so fucking narcissistic and they love themselves. That's the whole 100%. Point. So, the reason that an athlete, like the reason that Michael Schumacher is, the F1 god that he is because he was such a relentless cunt to compete against. He would 100%. Not, he would refuse to lose, Yeah. That's why people are like, yeah, he's a bit of a rude cunt. It's like, well, yes, he's Michael Schumacher. That's what he had, that's part of his DNA. So, of course, you've got to accept the bad things about people. If you're like if we... I know it's been trending this way for a while, hasn't it, Greeno? This kind of fucking ongoing purity test that everyone wants to do with people. And it really does just get fucking tiresome. It's like, well, you can't like that person. Why not? Yeah. Because 15 years ago, they did a press conference where they said this. And it's like, I don't care anymore.
It's so fucking dumb. Like,
I don't care.
If anyone can look into the mirror and say, I've never done anything fucking shit in my life, you're a fucking liar to begin with. Yep. Look, there's levels of shitness, like, with this criminal activity, and then there's, like assault and all those kind of things that kind of feed into all that. But at the same time, does it make me enjoy Bill Murray's films less? No. Does it make me enjoy any film that was made under the Miramax banner any less? No. Like I can still appreciate, like Harvey Weinstein may be a shit cunt, and we know that. But
okay, you know, those chicks that he forced to suck him off really did a good job in those movies, Greeno. It's got to be.
It's not what I'm fucking saying. What I'm saying is I can still appreciate entertainment for what it is. In the
Good
same
job,
way.
Harvey. You really know how to pick them.
You're diluting your point here, sir. Like, there's different points.
I mean, you're such a bigot, Greeno. How could you even literally think that? Awful stuff. All right, I'll tell you what it is, Greeno. It's a great fucking segue because it takes us right up to the netball problem, the netball story.
All right, I want you to start summarising netball for me while I get a beer.
Okay, well, so what's happened here in this country is the Australian women's netball team has been embroiled in something of late. And this embroiling comes from the fact that a particular a woman who runs, well, I forget what company she runs. It's one of the mining companies. Her dad started it and she kind of inherited it, but that's kind of beside the point. She was going to sponsor the Australian women's netball team for $15 million. And apparently this would have made a huge dent in Australian women's netball overheads because apparently the netball doesn't make much money. Apparently sponsors aren't lining up to throw money at it. And it's very difficult to find this funding, right? And apparently this money was going to go fund a bunch of different little programs and stuff. Now, as has become, you know, increasingly popular of late, one of the athletes decided to make a statement about the sponsorship from this company. And they weren't happy. They didn't want to wear the logo of this company on their uniform, right, from this company, because in the 1980s at some point, the then owner of the company said some racist things, and that's more or less accurate. And now people will talk about how awful the racist things are, or they're not that bad, or whatever. But that's by the by. The point was,
when we say not that bad, it was fucking pretty bad. The dude was talking about, hey, let's just put a whole bunch of dope in the water and kill off the Aborigines. Yeah, that falls in the higher end of racism,
right? Well, again, that's not for me to decide though. Like, what I'm saying is that's your decision to make. Like, how offended are you? I can't answer that. So, you know, some people will say it was pretty offensive, other people won't, but that's not really the point. But the point was the athlete was refusing to wear the logo of this company because of what was said in the 1980s by the former owner, who's now dead, and his daughter now runs the company. Yeah. And so, you know, the team came out in support of the player and said, well, no, we stand with her. And basically, like, to boil it down, the team kind of came up with like a list of demands of the sponsor. And they said, okay, well, look, we'll let you be our sponsor as long as you know, it was something like apologize for what your dad said and you do this and you do this. And Gina Reinhart, you know, the potential sponsor, said, oh, okay, we'll stick it up your ass then, and I'll keep my $15 million and you can get it somewhere else. And, you know, everyone started carrying on and losing their minds and saying, this is outrageous. Why doesn't she just apologize? Why doesn't she distance herself? How can I was seeing shit on Twitter, Greeno, like people saying, can we allow rich people to not hand over their money? It's like, really? You're going that hard? I would have thought, now, here's the story. The netballer who's complained about a sponsor threw her sport into chaos last week had changed her mind about not wearing the sponsor's logo, but too late to stop Netball Australia losing $15 million.
Nice, Gary!
It's too late. No, too late. Sorry. Netball Australia has lost its $15 million sponsorship deal with Hancock Prospecting after Indigenous netballer Donnell Wallum refused to wear the company's logo on her uniform because of racist comments made by Lang Hancock in the 1980s. We're talking 40 years ago, Greeno. Now, this is something that I thought was particularly interesting. Netball Australia players are widely mocked for the anti-Gina Reinhart stance that saw the billionaire, tear up a $15 million sponsorship as they are told to fire up the Bunnings sausage sizzle to pay for their wages.
Nice, Gary!
That's a fixer, sir.
Sausage sizzle.
That's a fixer.
That's a fixer. We're going to fix the issue with the netballers.
You lost 15 mil. You know nothing about money. I know nothing about netball. Yep. Between us, we'll fix it. How about you fire up the Bunnings sausage sizzle?
Now, like, so here's my point with all this, right? I would have thought that this is exactly what everybody wanted, because the players were clearly not comfortable with the sponsor. They told the sponsor as much, that they weren't comfortable with you being the sponsor. And the sponsor said, well, all right, well then fuck you then. I'll keep my money and I'll do something else with it. And they went on their merry way. The fact that everyone's carrying on and going, oh my God, this isn't fair, this is bullshit, and the racist and all that stuff is just white noise. Everybody got what they wanted here.
That's what I was going to say. Oh, man, I'm glad you fucking said that, because that was literally my point at the end of this, of, isn't this a scenario where kind of both people are right here?
Yeah.
Like Netball Australia did something that no other fucking sporting organisation I've ever seen
They
done.
put conditions on their charity. You know?
No, but even that, they're just kind of like going, look, we don't, like, we think, like, we're offended by this, and what would happen with most sports would be, we're going to take their money, we're going to pretend to be angry about it, but then we're still going to be sponsored by them, and we're going to move on.
Yep.
That was what would normally happen. But they literally cost themselves $15 million for having a stand. And I respect that. That's balls, man. So they're right.
You got what you wanted.
They're right by taking a stand. In the same way that the other party, the sponsor, is right by going, well, I don't have to give you $15 million.
Yeah, I don't have to submit to your demands. I don't have to apologize for shit that was said 40 years ago. Not my problem. You don't want my money? Fuck you then, you know.
No, well, not even that. Like, firstly, I think there'd be a different scenario if she was the one that said it.
Yes.
I think that would kind of play a little bit of a part in it. She fucking done nothing wrong, man. Like, her dad said something in 1980, and like, oh well, like this is a representative. Like, that's 42 years ago. If you shit that was said,
imagine if someone came up to you. Imagine if someone came up to you, Greeno, and said, you know, we demand that you apologize. I would look them straight in the eye and go fuck yourself. Who the fuck are you to demand anything from me?
I would too, man. Like, especially if like my dad was dead as well. I'd be like, look, yeah, my dad was a fucking massive racist, but no, fuck you. Like, I'm trying, like. Once again, we talk about in minute scenarios. We talked about the scenario of going to a shop and they ask for personal details and us refusing to give it.
Yeah.
This is us refusing to give someone $15 million because they're like, oh, we want you to do this. Well, I'm not going to do it. I just want to give you the $15 million.
Yeah. Like, if you don't want the money, then fine. I'll take it somewhere else. Happy days.
Somewhere else. Like, you don't have to take my money. It's cool. Like, if you think it's and once again, credit to Netball Australia to go. Look, when we'll cost ourselves $15 million.
Now,
like,
I agree with you. It has to be, yes, credit to Netball Australia because they cost themselves $15 million. However, that is based on the caveat that you don't fucking bitch about it afterwards. Okay? You can't complain now. That's it.
They haven't, though.
Yeah.
It's all been social media. It's been complaining.
That's right.
Netball Australia.
That's right. It's the idiots.
Nice Gary.
Nice Gary. Yeah, I'll give him Nice Gary.
Nice Gary for having the balls to knock back $15 million.
Yeah, I think everybody was a winner here, you know, and I find it amazing that people are so fucking upset to the point where they're like, we should force billionaires to fund sports in order to pay off fucking colonization. You know, when all the fucking weirdo idiots get involved in it, Greeno? You know what I mean?
$15 million.
Oh, yeah, I took a bunch of screenshots because I was sending them around to mates going, look at this fucking idiot here, what he thinks. Look at this fucking weirdo. And there were people that were there like, is it morally justifiable to let a company not fund sports? You know, like, and it's like, what do you mean not fund? What do you mean morally justified? So you think you're morally justified to take everybody's money? That's weird. Mate, don't you think? Don't you think you're missing the point?
I have to sit through 48 billion points bet and sports bets apps a day to just watch sport. What's the moral outrage then? Like, fucking come on, eh?
Exactly.
Oh, this person saw something bad 42 years ago. Once again, we go back to the Eddie Murphy theory. Oh, faggots and niggas and faggots. Like, what he said for like in 1980 doesn't mean anything to what Eddie is now. In the same way, it's like, well, it's not even fucking the same person. It's to the dad, for Christ's sake. Like, it's all very fucking like. Once again, tip of the hat to Netball Australia for going, look, we're going to agree with this, and we're going to cost ourselves money because no sport ever does that.
And I'm going to give tip of the hat to Gina Reinhart's company for, you know, sticking by your guns too and saying, no, fuck them. I'm not apologising for shit. Go tell them to go fuck themselves. You know,
and also
fair enough.
And also not being a dick about it.
Yeah, she's just like, no, we're drawn.
Like, okay, she hasn't come out and like blasted them.
Well, she actually, believe it or not, she actually agreed to fund them for like the next couple of years until they find, or next couple of months or something. I don't know, however long it was, until they find a new sponsor. She's graciously doing that on the way out. It's like, okay, look, you've probably made plans around this sponsorship. You know, you've probably budgeted and stuff. So I'll keep you going for a little while until you find someone else to hook you up, and then I'm out of here. And it was like a nice Gary.
Nice Gary.
Everybody was very polite in this, you know. But look on social media, everyone's trying to cut each other's fucking heads off. It's ridiculous.
But you know the irony of it, though, because all we've heard for the better part of the last, 18, 24 months is climate change, climate change, climate change. No one's talking about how the factory owns a fucking mining company.
No.
Was the outrage?
No, because racism, Greeno.
Racism for something that some dude that doesn't even own the company anymore has been dead for 30 years.
Yeah.
He said in 1980.
He said something was said in 1980 that we don't like. Okay. Is it worth 15 mil? All right. Well, okay, sweet then. See you later.
Yeah.
Done. End of story. How about this one, Greeno? No black players expected in World Series, a first since 1950. I replied to this with one question, Greeno. So?
Nice, Gary.
So?
It's not like they've gone. It's not like they said, here's the two teams.
Yep.
By the way, you've got to get rid of all your black players. The two teams that happen to make the World Series just happen to not have any African American players.
Yep.
Now, how many South American players are on both those teams?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because the Twitter, now we all know that Twitter is geared for idiots, right? And the Twitter is geared to bait people into making all kinds of comments. Now, the tweet for this article says, no black players expected in World Series, a first since 1950. The actual article, when you click on the link, no US-born black players.
Nice, Gary.
Wow, that's a bit different, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. I was going to say...
yesterday, I thought it was a Klan rally, Greeno. There are going to be blacks there. Oh, okay.
I've literally watched every game of this postseason at some point.
I've seen a black guy out there at times.
Oh, not US-born African Americans is what you're saying.
Technical.
Let's ignore the fact there's Martin Maldonado and basically half of the Astros pitching staff.
But you know what? I put baseball... not the same realm as hockey, but I definitely consider baseball to be a quote unquote white guy sport.
It's the opposite, man.
I know, but there's a lot of you could just take the fucking Japanese interest, and that would outnumber most of them. You know what I mean? So I get that. But, it's like the old historical photos of the guys, wearing the funny uniforms and stuff and playing baseball.
Well, because there was segregation up until...
Yeah, right. But when I think of basketball, I don't think of basketball as a white guy sport.
Because they didn't have segregation in basketball.
I didn't think of football. Yeah, I don't think of golf as a black guy sport, even though Tiger Woods was one of the best.
Because it's a white guy sport.
What about yachting?
It's a very white guy. I'd love to see that.
Just a bunch
of brothers out on a yacht sitting over.
How about 10-pin bowling, Greeno? Is that a white guy sport or a black guy sport?
That seems like a white guy sport.
But a lot of black guys enjoy bowling, though.
I'm sure they do, but what I'm saying is, if you want athletic ability and explosive pace,
Well, how about this? Running, black guy sport. Swimming, white guy sport. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And that's not a racist thing. That's just flat out statistical looking at it, going, who seems to dominate each individual sport?
Well, that's science, because that literally is science. That's muscle density.
There's a reason. I hate the phrase reverse racism because it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But when I hear, fastest white guy on earth.
That's wow, what a compliment.
You're like 112. This is 111 black guys in front of you.
Yeah.
True.
Well, it is. It all comes down to muscle density, because black guys have more muscle density, which is they have faster twitch. They call it fast twitch muscles, and they fast
twitch fibers. Yeah,
they have faster twitch fibers, so that means that their muscles are denser, so they have more explosive power, so they can run faster. But it's literally and it's also the reason why there are no black guy kind of famous world champion swimmers. It's because they sink. comparative to the white people who have less muscle density.
Heavier muscle
yes,
density, which means
they tend to float on top of the water more, so they're quicker. And we're talking about, we might be talking about like half a second over 100 meters or something.
That's what it matters, though.
That's what matters. Yeah,
it makes a difference.
It's the same for the runners. I might be 2/10 slower than fucking Usain Bolt, and I'd be 200 in the world, kind of thing. You know,
yeah,
it's all about those couple of hundredths of a second at that level of sports. So yeah, that's why black guys are faster runners, because they have more muscle density, and that's why they're slower swimmers, because they have more muscle density. I mean, fucking nice. We love science.
Nice, Gary.
What can I say?
Hey, trust the science, Damo.
Yeah, got to believe in the science, Greeno. Absolutely.
Could I talk a quick story time on baseball, if I can?
Please.
I like stories about pinatas.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Yeah, fuck it, because we're not getting through the rest of these stories. No way.
Oh, no, I mean, we've skipped most of it already. Had a baseball Presso on the weekend, so end of the year awards ceremony, if
presentation.
You will. Yeah, first time I've been to a pub in like 2.5 years.
Yeah, because COVID and shit.
Because of COVID, but it was kind of like, oh, do I go? Do I not go? And I'm like, yeah, I better go. Like, seems like I need to be there. Went along first time. Firstly, forgot how stupidly overpriced beers are.
What are we talking? How much?
Oh man, I think I'm spending like $8 a beer, which isn't like
it's disgusting though. That's
when you go to
feral.
the city. But I'm like, well, hang on, I can buy a full case.
Were you in the town? Were you in town in Sydney? Or?
No, this is down South Coast, man. This is local. This is my scene.
Gong or no,
not even
outside
Gong.
of Gong, because Gong is very expensive, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, not really. But,
no.
Like I was outside Gong. Like I'm south from Gong.
All right, I got you. Yep.
So, but still, like, and this thing was almost like a Razza.
$8. So it is like RSL, like lawn bowls beers.
It was Razza beers, still $8, and I'm like, man, like,
yeah, that's horrendous.
So what I did, because I don't, because no one carries
schooner
cash
or
anymore.
pint? Schooner or pint?
It's a schooner.
Schooner. Fuck that.
So I was like, oh, look, I'm going to take, and I gave myself a budget for the night. So I took $100 in cash, and I'm like, this is what I got. This is what I'm paying.
Won't get you far.
But what happened is, so I get there, and I'm like, buy myself a beer, all good.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, $8, whatever it was.
$8.
All good. Went back in, but then I was like,
what? Do you want me to do fucking dishes till 2 a.m. to pay this off or what? Fuck you.
It's all good. So I was like, oh, look, a couple of boys rocked up that I enjoyed playing with, like good dudes. I'm like, hey man, I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I don't drink beer. But I'll have a tequila sunrise.
Oh no, you fucking won't. Not for $30.
I'm like, I have to buy you a beer. He's like, I don't drink beer. I'm like, okay, fair call. I'll buy you one.
I'll get you a fucking lemon squash then, cunt.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you don't drink beer. That's cool. I'll buy
Canadian Club or something. Yeah.
Now here's the thing.
Cider. I'll do a cider.
Well, I'll give him a nice Gary.
Okay.
Because the fucking shot of tequila in a mix was only like $1 extra.
Ah, okay.
So I'm like, fucking, okay, we're sweet. Like, this is pretty much a comparable round.
Yep.
So then, but here's the thing. I see the dude go to the bar like an hour later.
Oh, no.
He buys himself a drink, and I'm like, he comes back with just one drink. I'm like, does he not realize how the rounds work, right?
Oh.
Dick. And then he didn't bring my, I'm like, okay.
It's your shout, bro. What's going on?
And then I'm having a chat with another bloke and another couple of guys, and I'm having a good time. I'm like, you guys want to, like, because I'm at this point, I haven't been in a pub for about 3 years.
So you're prepared to go another round just to keep it going.
It's different guys, though. I'm like, fucking, I was originally not going to go, but now I'm having a good time. I'm like, fuck, now I'm going to buy these guys beers and buy these guys beers. It's all good. Yep. So I buy another couple of guys some beers, all good, blah, 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 buy them back, bring them back. And then I see them go, and I'm like, is no one fucking going to buy me a beer here tonight?
Wow.
So I'm now 3 individuals into a round.
What?
And I still haven't got a reciprocal. Oh, fucking, this is not good.
That is definitely not good.
So at this point...
Is this my team or what? What the fuck is going on here?
So at this point, I'm kind of like, well, now I'm going to have to fucking start laying down some rules. Like, people are going to understand.
This will work well, yeah.
Because I'm a couple in. Yeah. So I'm like...
So you're getting mouthy.
I'm getting a bit mouthy. So I'm like, I saw the dude about to go to the bar. I'm like, hey, bro, are you going to the bar? This is round number 1. And
yeah, get me one while you're up there.
And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, get me one?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, I bought you one. Like, Yeah, man, just give me a beer. Yeah, sweet. So had to like nudge round number one.
Wow. Fucking
He bought me a
tight
beer.
asses.
He came back, and he's like, I didn't know what beer you wanted. And I'm like, bro,
Right.
like, I told you as you left. So he bought me a different beer than what I wanted.
Oh God.
So already we're in bad territory.
So you're picking. I'm picking up a vibe at that point, and I'd be like, do these cunts even want me here, or what? Like, what
No,
the fuck?
it's
Are
not
they just
that.
sinking my piss and then buying me what I don't want? And like, what the fuck is this?
No, it's the difference between Southies and Westies, sir. Westies understand the round rules. Southees don't seem.
Oh, you reckon? They do.
Yeah,
You reckon
I
they have
think
their
so.
own kind of weird little? They just buy
It's
all
a
their own
weird
beers
little
and stuff.
kind of
Do
like
they?
Southie rules, where it's like, we just buy our own beer because everyone seemed shocked when I offered to buy them a beer. Like for us,
Really?
it's just normal, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, you want to buy me a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, I'll buy you beer. You buy me a beer. Everyone fucking wins, right? Like, it all comes out even at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't
I
keep
buy
track
you-
of it. You don't keep track of it unless you're the only one buying them. Then you can't help but keep track of it because you're the only one buying them.
I was trying to explain the logic of like, well, it makes no sense for us to line up individually to get fucking one drink.
Yeah.
Whoever's going to the bar buys,
Yes.
and then someone else lines up and buys fucking 4 beers,
Yeah.
and then the next person lines up and buys 4 beers. That's how we roll.
I reckon unless they all think that they're all going to go in there and buy one and then be out,
Yeah, I don't know.
because that's the only other reason you don't get involved in shouts is because I've said it myself before. Like, look, no, I can't do shouts tonight, guys. I'm only going to have 1 or 2 and then I'm out of here. So, you know, you guys shout up. You know, you go for it, but I'm out, you know.
You got to call it earlier.
You definitely have to call it the first time someone says,
yeah, no, mate, I'm all good. I'm not going to be here long. And you go,
That's it.
sweet, I understand the round.
That's the rule. Like, so if someone shouts, right, and you receive, then you're in. That's it now. And if there's 5 people at the table, guess what? You're buying a fucking shout for 5 people at some point. That's the way it works. But if that first shout goes up and you say, "Oh no, look, mate, I'm not doing shouts tonight. I'm just gonna have one and now I'm gone," they'll go, "No worries, bro, it's all good." And then you'll have your one and you'll leave, and nobody will think you're a cunt. But if you drink 1 or 2 from a shout and then don't shout, the rest of the group, you are a cunt. That is low life behavior, dog behavior.
So at this point, I'm concerned because I'm like, well, fucking now I've had to nudge bloke number 1 to buy me a beer.
Yes,
and
that's
bloke
no
number
good.
2, I haven't seen him go to the bar yet, but I haven't seen him. So I'm like, fuck, I'll go get another drink.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I'm going to give a tip of the hat to bloke number 2. After I just bought a beer, he came up to me. He's like, I owe you a beer. And I'm like,
Gary!
So I'm like, fucking, oh, mate, I literally just bought one, eh? Like, thanks. I'll get back to you. Like, you're not leaving, right? And he's like, no, I'm not leaving.
Okay.
Excellent. He understood. Now, this was like an old school RSL veteran, this bloke.
Yeah.
Like, this guy was like 60 years of age, and he's got some beers under his
He's
belt.
done plenty of buffets at the RE, Greeno.
He understood the fucking
He's done
rules.
karaoke nights, the lot.
I'm like, bro,
He knows them all.
You get it. He's done raffles out the arse, man. He's fucking won so many
Frozen
parties, it's not
chooks.
funny. He's got frozen chooks stacked up for decades in his freezer.
Nice, Gary!
So I got this dude. I'm like, fucking yes, you finally understand, Terry. You get it. But then I'd already just bought a beer. So then I'm chatting away, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then as the presentations end, everyone fucks off. And this is only like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I'm like, well, because I said to the wife.
You're
and I'm
ready
like,
to kick on now.
I'm like, well, pick me up at 10, eh? Because like the kids are still got to kids only go to bed about 7. I'm like, oh, look, if you pick me up at 10, at least I don't feel like I'm interrupting their sleep too much. Like, sweet.
Okay.
But I was ready to kick on. I'm having a good time. And then I look around and no one's left in this pub but like 3 guys. I'm like, fuck.
Mate.
So then I'm like, oh shit, what's going on here? But I look over and I'm like, there's the bloke that fucking offered to buy me the round back.
He's stuck around. He's there.
He's still here. So he's not even going to the bar, but at this point, I realize this is this fucking critical station because the wife's arriving at 10 and it's 9:45.
Okay, you've got 15 minutes to get a beer out of this cheapskate.
If I don't ask him, no, because this is the guy that offered to buy
He
me.
offered to get you a beer.
So I'm like, mate, if I don't ask him now, fuck, I'm screwed. I'm not getting my beer. So I'm like, hey, Terry, like, can I hit you up for that beer now, mate? And he'd just gone to the bar.
Oh, no.
But he understood. He gave me the look and he's like, I've got you. And he went to the bar.
Wow.
As soon as Terry hit the bar, my phone rings.
No.
The wife's like, I'm here early. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, I've just sent a dude to go to the bar for me. Like, it's round back. I can't. It's like I'm losing money if I don't stick around and have this beer.
You've got to now finish it before you leave. And here's the other thing too, Greeno.
Yeah.
This now puts you. Sorry to interrupt the story.
I like stories about pinatas.
This now puts you in a compromising social situation now because he's done the correct thing. He's gone up. He's like, you know what? He's made a special trip to the bar. I think you are now socially obligated to stay there and chat to this man in a casual drinking pose for however long it takes for him to finish his beer, not so much yours. Because if you get it and suck it down in 5 minutes and go, all right, thanks for that, mate, I'm taking off, see ya, he's going to think, wow, this cunt stuck around all night waiting for me to buy him a beer. And then he left straight after. So you become the arsehole then at that point.
No, see, I understand those rules, sir.
Yeah.
So what happened is I had to then message the wife back going, hey.
Go for a drive.
Go
pick up some KFC and see me back here.
Got a dude at the bar just buying me around. Yeah. I'll be out in 20. Because I understood. I've got, like, the kids are going to have to wait. Like, they have to wait in the car. They'll be fine.
Yeah. It's much more important for me to impress these strangers.
Yes, there's one guy who's just wanting a beer because it's part of a round. So what ended up happening is at that point, I didn't realize I was holding everyone else up
of course.
At the function.
Oh,
because it was me and the other bloke who were in the round that were the last people drinking. And they're like, hang on, you guys got another beer. We're trying to leave the venue.
Oh.
And we can't leave the venue if you guys are still got a full drink.
Why can't they leave? Why can't everyone leave when they want? What's going on?
They're the hosts. Like, they were the hosts of the
club. Oh, so they're waiting to clean up the room and stuff after you.
But they can't leave. So now we've got bar staff waiting on us because apparently they close at 10.
Oh, no. No.
So now I've got a kind of dick move, but I feel like I've got to drink my beer out of, like, principle.
Right.
Of the round, if you understand.
Yes.
But Terry got it. Terry understood. He's like, we're going to buy a beer.
He knows.
I can have the beer and we're going to enjoy it and then we'll leave.
So you and Terry are the last two piss cunts there at 10 o'clock when everyone else has gone home for the night as well.
Some of them wasn't even going to go to in the first place. So I'm having a fucking good time. Yeah, I've been to a pub in 3 years. This is amazing.
Enjoy.
$8, I'm getting 2 rounds back. We're all good.
Yep.
That's my story time. So.
That's a good.
I like stories about pinatas.
All right, I tell you what, let's wrap it up there, shall we? It's a good little show, Greeno. That was a good little story to end the show on, I think.
That's it. Bit of plugs. You doing a show Saturday or Sunday this week, sir?
Yeah, so Sunday for us, Sunday morning for me and you and me, and Saturday night for everybody else. So,
very nice.
Yeah, I don't know what time it's really going to be when I wake up and I can get to it, and so it could be 6, 7, 8 p.m. around about there on Saturday night if you're in the States, depending on where you are as well. Don't forget, I'm not the only one involved in this. It also depends on where you are. You know, I can't control that. Why don't you move?
Check the Elon Bird and you'll
check the Elon Bird. Yeah, check out Elon Bird at BoogieBumper, and I'll let you know when I'm about to do something.
You'll be about to do something.
Yeah.
Or good. Or you can just listen to the podcast.
You can listen to the podcast too. Yeah, whenever you want. That's there. You don't even have to show up. It's there waiting for you when it's uploaded. You know.
Time becomes
Please
irrelevant,
listen to me
really, when you can just fucking listen to the podcast.
Yeah, on your own time. Yeah, when you go to the pub and trying to get shouts out of people. Yeah, crazy noises. Yeah, so that's going on. Yeah. All right.
See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell you the